Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hopkinton High School turf fields for JV football on HCAM as the Hopkinton Hillers will battle Brockton here this afternoon. Tom Nappy on the call, John Ritz on camera. The Hillers will kick off left to right across your screen to Brockton. Brockton in their away black jerseys with maroon numbering and a maroon helmet with the maroon pant leg. The Hillers in their home greens with the white numbering, the white helmet, and the green and orange emblem on the side. Kicking it away is Avery Ravitch, the sophomore, and he is going to set an end over end, kind of an onside looking kick, and there is a lot of wind today, so you wonder if that was the reasoning for the short kickoff. And it was returned from the 35 up to about the 38-yard line. So that is where Brockton will start. From their own 38. And for the freshman JV games, they do not have a scoreboard operator, so we'll do our best to keep you informed with how much time is left. But Brockton, a legendary program that has done a number of big things in the last few years and had a number of great playoff runs. It should be a good matchup here today. As out of the gun goes Turco, he'll hand it off, and it's going to be a run up the middle for about a yard to start things off. On the carry for Brockton, that was Mauricio Powell Jr. He starts things off with a yard gain, 2nd and 9 from the 39. Out of the gun they go once again. Matt Turco, a sophomore quarterback. And he'll line it up out of the gun and hand it off once again. There goes Powell. And this time he's good for a couple yards. That'll bring up 3rd down for Brockton. And we had the opportunity to bring you a tremendous varsity matchup this past Saturday. A TVL large matchup between Hopkinton and Medfield. That game went back and forth the whole way. Certainly worth a watch if you haven't watched it yet. Out of the gun, once again, Turco's going to throw this time up the middle, incomplete. Intended target was Christian Pina. And that'll bring up 4th down, so the Hillers defense forcing a quick 3-0. So Brockton will punt it away. And back to return for the Hillers. And the punt sent sailing by Angel Gonzalez. And back to return, that was Wyatt Stevens. He's just going to let it go. Smart move there. And the Hillers will start from their own 20-yard line. Line it up, and as usual, I'm sure you'll see a couple of quarterbacks in this JV game. You'll see Wyatt Stevens and Robert Lisher share time under center as the offense huddles up, and they get set to go here. In there right now for this drive, it is Robert Lisher. Lisher in his sophomore year. Going to line it up out of the gun with a back to his right. He'll hand it off, and it's a sweep to the far side. And some good room is found there. And I believe that was Nicholas Sessi on the carry. bring up 2nd and 5 to go. 5-yard pickup on the first play of the game for the Hillers offense. And as you can tell, it is a windy day here today at the turf fields. Actually, that looks like there's a 24 in the backfield. We don't have him listed. And it's going to be a run up the middle this time, and not much room there. Good stop by the Brockton defense. It was about a loss of 2 on the last rush attempt. Actually, that's Joe Carazza in there at running back, and the jersey was tucked in. So Carazza with the first couple of carries. He had a big game in our last JV broadcast against Ashland, in which the Hillers won that game 20-8. Out of the gun they go. Lisher going to roll to his right, looking to pass under pressure, and he throws incomplete. Intended target was Braden Hicks. Good coverage by Adriano Correa for Brockton. And the Hillers will go 3 and out, and we'll likely see another punt here. So perhaps we'll have a defensive affair today. And there's the wind howling. To the line goes the Hillers. Lisher going to line it up out of the gun. Carazza back into the game at running back, lined up to his left. 3 receivers to his right. Takes the snap and will punt it away. Lisher, of course, does a lot of the punting for this Hillers JV team. And Brockton going to have pretty good field position here. They're going to start at the Hillers 40-yard line. Work right to left across your screen. So, first couple of drives of the game, both teams punting back and forth to each other. Couple 3 and outs. Brockton historically known for having a great defensive program. They're going to line it up out of the gun here, motion from right to left, and it's going to be a sweep play. Here's an end around and a pretty good pickup. That was Jonathan Pace. Now bring up 2nd down. On the play, he picked up several yards. That'll make it 2nd and about 3 to go. In there at quarterback for Brockton, Matthew Turco. They'll line it up out of the gun, back to his left. 2 receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, hands it off, run up the middle, 1st down and more. A big pickup there by Mauricio Powell Jr. And that'll move Brockton up to about the 20-yard line. That is about a 15-yard pickup by Powell Jr. Biggest offensive play of the game for either team so far. Out of the gun they go once again. Powell Jr. the back to the right of Turco. Turco back to pass, throws to his right, and it is batted down. It was a good throw towards Wilker Pena, but great defense by Wyatt Stevens to bat it down. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Brockton from the 20. They're going to line it up out of the gun once again. Turco with a back to his right, 2 receivers either side, hands it off, run up the middle, and finding some room. Up the middle is going to be Powell Jr., and he keeps going, pushing the defense forward. He's still moving, showing off the power, and he gets a 1st down plus some there, very close to getting into the end zone. Looks like he got to about the 5. So that was about a 15-yard pickup. And they'll go out of the gun once again, and it's going to be a keeper by Turco, but the Hillers are ready for it. In on the tackle, Hunter Bertucci Bissonetta Jr. He takes down Turco for a loss. That was a loss of about 3 yards there. That'll bring up second and goal from about the 7. Out of the gun they go once again, and it is going to be a keeper, and the Hillers once again are ready for it. This time on the stop, Joseph Carazza. And that was a small loss there as well by Turco. Might have just got back to the line of scrimmage. That brings up third down for Brockton. A little surprising. They went away from Paul Jr. in those last couple of snaps. In the backfield now, they got Rodriguez. Under center, it's going to be a pitch to the right slot back, and a loss as he is taken down by a number of Hillers. That was Lorenzo Santos on the attempt. He's taken down for a loss. Kevin Prasanna was in on the tackle for the Hillers along with a couple others. And that brings up fourth down for Brockton. And it looks like they're going to take a timeout to talk things over and what to do in this fourth down situation. That was a loss of about another 3 yards. They are backed up almost all the way to the 10-yard line. So it's going to be fourth and goal from about the 10. I would expect here, after having 3 run attempts that didn't go very far, they might try to pass. Couple of big runs by Mauricio Paul Jr. set up Brockton in the red zone. But then the Hillers defense stepped it up and made a couple of big stops. 4 losses. Looks like the offense heading back out to the field. It is a windy day, so trying the field goal might be a little risky. So it looks like they will indeed snap and try to see what they could do here in this fourth and goal situation. Turco lined up as the quarterback, out of the gun, back to his right. Takes the snap, rolls to his right, throws to his right, and it's batted down. A very good defensive play there by Michael Burney. And we have a turnover on downs. So Michael Burney coming up big. Intended target was Jonathan Pace. And it was a good throw, well-thrown ball once again, but Burney was covering Pace just perfectly. So the Hillers will start this drive from about their own 10. And they are working it left to right across your screen. Out of the gun they go. And right off the snap, we're going to have a whistle here. Looks like we may have had a false start. So this could back the Hillers up some. And it indeed indeed will. So they'll move back to about the 5. Wyatt Stevens in there as the quarterback. Carazza lined up to his right. It's a 4-receiver set, 3 receivers lined up to his right. Takes the snap and he'll hand it off. Carazza getting the call here. He's surrounded by defenders and brought down after a small gain. Looks like he was able to pick up a couple. In on the stop for Brockton was Walter Rodriguez, among a couple others. That'll bring up 2nd and about 13 to go for the Hillers. We're going to go out of the gun once again. Stevens with a back to his right. 3 receivers also to his right. Going to take the snap, and once again, we'll have a whistle right off the snap. And let's see who this is on. I did see the official point in Brockton's direction, but he signaled false start. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against the Hillers again. Well, a couple of premature jumps by the Hillers offense here on this drive. That'll make it 2nd and about 18 to go. Out of the gun once again. Stevens takes the snap, and we have a flag. And another false start against Hopkinton. Not quite sure what's going on out there. I can't imagine the Hillers coaches are going to be too happy about that. Coach Sanborn and crew. Mark Sanborn, the JV coach for the Hillers. Stevens lined up out of the gun, back to his right. 2 receivers either side. Takes the snap, looks to his right, throws to his right. Has his target, but it's a short gain. On the reception, that was Sergio Melli. And I believe that is going to be a timeout called by Hopkinton. They want to talk things over. It's a 3rd down situation here. The Hillers need to get all the way to the 20 for a 1st down. They currently have the ball at about the 5. Actually, I believe they ruled that an incomplete pass. Good point. Well, no, the second guy, he's at the 10. Oh, yeah. Okay. So actually looking at the spot now, it looks like the Hillers all the way at the 2. 1 or 2 yard line. So they are deep in their own territory for this 3rd down. Stevens in there as the quarterback. He's going to line it up out of the gun. Carazza in the backfield. He'll take the snap, and he's back to pass, rolling to his right, looking upfield. Throws upfield, and it's hauled in close to the 1st down. On the reception, that was Paul Lisher. And let's see if he got enough. He did. An 18-yard pickup on the reception by Paul Lisher. And the Hillers keep this drive going. Well, it's not a typical thing to have 3 false start calls and still manage to get the first down. Good effort there. Stevens out of the gun, Carazza in the backfield. He'll take the snap, pitches it to Carazza, who will sweep to the left. There he goes, up the far side, and a nice pickup there. And he's close to another first down, and I believe he may have got it. Let's see where they mark him. Nope, they're going to mark him just short. A couple yards short, it looks like. So about a 7-yard pickup by Carazza. I'd imagine we are nearing the end of the first quarter. Unfortunately, the scoreboard not on, so we'll just have to guesstimate here. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun. 2 receivers in tight to his right. Motion right to left, and the man in motion, Carazza, is going to get the call here. And he is going to be stopped near the first down marker. Looks like right... He's going to be stopped about 3 yards short. As the wind continuing to pick up. There's not much of a gain on that play. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun once again. Motion left to right. Carazza in motion, and it'll be a handoff to the up back this time, who will take it up the gut and get very close to a first down, if not enough. And it looks like he will indeed have enough. That was a 5-yard pickup, and that is going to do it for the first quarter. After 1 quarter of play, it's Hopkinton nothing, Brockton nothing. You are tuned in to Hopkinton Hillers JV football on HCAM. And welcome back to Hopkinton High School. We have switched ends, and we are ready for the second quarter. Scoreless game in this JV matchup between Hopkinton and Brockton. Hillers now working right to left across your screen from their own 30. Paul Lisher with an 18-yard reception to extend the drive as Stevens takes it out of the gun. He's going to take it himself. Here he goes up the near side, and he picks up several yards there. A nice keeper there by Stevens. Designed run. And they're going to give him about 9 yards. I'll bring up 2nd and 1 from the 39-yard line. So the Hillers keeping this drive going, extending it some more with that 18-yard reception earlier and have a chance to extend it even more. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun. In the backfield, it's Tyler Mulvaney. Line up now to his left. Two receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap. He's going to keep it along the near side. First down plus some. It looked like Stevens initially was going to be brought down for a loss as he was being chased down by Robert Pierce, but was able to elude the tackle and pick up plenty for the first down. They mark him at the 44. It was a 5-yard pickup. Back to the line they go. Stevens out of the gun. Mulvaney to his left. Two receivers either side. Takes the snap, looks to his left, in trouble, gets rid of it, up the left side, has a wide open target, and it's caught. Seamus Murphy gonna take it to the house. Touchdown, Hillers. A 56-yard connection for the touchdown. Seamus Murphy. Wyatt Stevens saw Murphy wide open, got rid of it just in time, and it doesn't get any better than that for the Hillers. Nothing but open field in front of Seamus Murphy. Now we'll see if they go for two here. They don't often kick extra points in the JV matchup. They like to go for the two-point attempt. Stevens is going to line it up out of the gun. Mulvaney the back to his left. Four receivers set, three lined up to his right. Takes the snap, and he's going to keep it himself. Takes it over to the far side and can't find any room. So the two-point conversion is no good, but the Hillers do go up 6-0. A 56-yard connection between Wyatt Stevens and Seamus Murphy. And after a drive that started very rough for the Hillers, they get exactly what they want. 3 false start calls to start this drive for the Hillers, which started all the way back at their own 10. And at one point, they're at their own 2. And that's when Stevens was able to, or actually I believe it was Robert Lisher at that point was able to find Paul Lisher on an 18-yard connection to extend the drive. And the teams are going to have to switch sides. Looks like they both lined up on the wrong side. The Hillers will kick it away after the 56-yard touchdown by Seamus Murphy, thrown by Wyatt Stevens. Avery Ravitch will tee it up. Sophomore ready to kick it away. End over end it goes towards the far side. It'll be returned from about the 30, and a pretty good return, all the way to about midfield. And Brockton will have good field position to start this drive as they try to respond to the Hillers touchdown. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 46-yard line. Let's see. 45. So they'll start from their own 45 for this drive. Working left to right across your screen. Matthew Turco looks over to the Brockton sideline for the play call. He'll line it up out of the gun with a back to his right. Two receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. In trouble in the backfield, and he's not going to get away. He's going to be brought down for a loss. And leading the charge for the Hillers, that was Justin Sokol, the sophomore, along with Owen Flanagan. And that is going to be a loss of 3 yards. Second and 13 from the 46, or excuse me, the 41. And it's going to be a run up the middle, and not much there. Was able to get to just a little past the initial line of scrimmage. Xavier McRae getting the call that time. 4-yard pickup. That makes it 3rd and 9 from the 47. Out of the gun they go. Turco calls it out, lines up McRae to his left. 2 receivers either side. Takes the snap. McRae gets the call. Up the middle he goes, and he gets just past midfield to the Hillers 49. That will bring up 4th down. It's a 5-yard pickup. 4th and 4 for Brockton. Turco out of the gun, back to his left. 4 receiver set, 3 to his left. Going to take the snap, and he'll take it himself, and will he get enough? He's very close. It's either going to be just enough or just a tad short. Let's see where they mark it. This is a big one. Ooh. Looks like they're going to give it to him. They will indeed. 1st and 10 now from the Hillers 45. Turco out of the gun, back to his left. 4 receiver set, 3 receivers to his left. Takes the snap. Here he goes up the middle, and he's brought down after a gain of a couple. In on the stop for the Hillers, that was Evan Van Beek. Turco looking for the play call. Brockton working in a hurry-up mode here, trying to get something going offensively. Out of the gun, and he's going to hand it off. And brought down for a loss is Powell Jr. A great stop there by the Hillers. In on the tackle. That was in a unlisted 86. That was a loss of 4 yards there. And are we getting a new quarterback here for Brockton? Looks like we are. Looks like Nathan Ratteau is the quarterback. Or actually, that's going to be Max Foster. He'll take the snap, rolls to his left, and he's brought down for a loss. On the sack, that was Hunter Bertucci-Bissonette. He's had a couple of big defensive plays already in this game. This brings Brockton all the way back to their own 45, and it'll bring up 4th down. We'll see if they punt it away here. Looks like they will indeed punt it away. 6-0 Hillers lead. Looks like they'll get the ball back as Brockton faces a 4th and pretty long here from their own 45. They have to get all the way to the Hillers 35 if they wanted to go for the 1st down. So on 4th and 20, looks like we'll see a punt. Snap is high. It's going to get over the head of Angel Gonzalez. He's having trouble gathering it up. A battle for the ball. It's still loose. And who recovered? The Hillers recovered. It looked like Justin Sokol was able to land on it. The last two I saw near the ball was Christian Pina for Brockton and Sokol, and they both fell right towards the football, and it looks like Sokol is the one who came up with it, and Hopkinton will have very good field position. We'll start this drive all the way at the Brockton 5. Robert Lisher in at quarterback. He's going to line it up out of the gun, back to his left, two receivers either side. Takes the snap, hands it off. Run up the middle. Pick up of maybe a couple there by Owen Flanagan. So the Hillers at about the 3-yard line now. Looks like we have a timeout called. Brockton wants a timeout. They're going to talk things over. Actually, it might have been Hopkinton who took the timeout. I believe it was Hopkinton. They'll talk things over and what to do in this second and goal situation from the 3. But a high snap on the punt allows Hopkinton to get some very good field position for this drive and a chance to go up by 2 scores. The Hillers so far today have 74 yards through the air on 2 receptions. Pretty impressive. Lisher is the quarterback. He's going to line it up out of the gun. In the backfield is Joseph Karatza. Takes the snap. He'll pitch it to Karatza, and Karatza on the sweep. And he's still battling, and it looks like he was stopped just short. Looks like he may have gotten about a yard, if anything. He tried to take it up the left side of the defense. They were ready for it, so he bounced off and then tried to take it up the middle, but Brockton did a nice job up front. They're sure going to line it up out of the gun. Flanagan to his left, 2 receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, looks up the middle, incomplete. Intended target was Paul Lisher. Good defensive coverage there by Brockton. And on the coverage was Adriano Correa. That brings up 4th down for the Hillers. And you'd have to expect they would go for it here. 4th and goal from about the 3. And we're going to get a timeout called by the Hillers. We're going to talk about what to do here on this 4th down play. Members of the Hillers freshman football team taking in some of the action as they just concluded with their practice. Pretty good turnout here today. And some great weather as well. Weather-wise, April football is working out very well. A 6-0 lead for the Hillers here in the second quarter. We're towards the final minutes of this second quarter as we get hit with a hurricane. And the wind blowing the ball around out there as well. They'll have to place that back. Out of the gun they go. Motion left to right. Lisher gonna take it to his left. Throws upfield towards the end zone. Incomplete. Off the hands of Paul Lisher. And we'll have a turnover on downs. The Hillers recovered a high snap on a punt attempt by Brockton all the way at the 5-yard line, but the Brockton defense comes up big here. Brockton going to line it up, quarterback under center. And it'll be a run up the middle, good for a couple. On the carry was Walter Rodriguez. We did get a whistle there. Not sure if they, I believe it was before he was brought down, so this could have been a false start. And it was. They're going to move him back. They'll be half the distance to the goal. So they'll move back to about the 1.5-yard line. Hillers looking for a safety here in this situation. Quarterback under center. And it's a run right up the gut. And it was Walter Rodriguez able to give Brockton a little room to work with as he marched to about the 4. That brings up second down for Brockton. Quarterback under center, and it's going to be a keeper up the middle. I think mostly this is, since we're at the end of the first half, towards it. This is the burn time off the clock, and just make sure that you don't make any mistakes before the half runs out. Deep in your own territory. And that is going to do it. That'll end the first half. After 2 quarters of play, it's Hopkinton 6, Brockton nothing. You are tuned in to Hopkinton Hillers JV football on HCAM. Well, folks, as I mentioned, they don't have the scoreboard on, so we're not quite sure how much time is left, but this may have just been a timeout, so we're going to hang out and see what the situation is. They didn't move the ball at all, so I believe this might have just been a timeout. And it appears it was just a timeout, so we apologize for that. In any case, Brockton ready to run the next play. There was no timeout signal really by the officials. So that was the reason for the confusion. This is going to be a third down and about 6 to go for Brockton. And they are going to line it up out of the gun. He'll take the snap, hands it off, and breaking up the middle for a first down and much more is Mauricio Powell Jr. Great run there. Takes it all the way to the 40-yard line, a 37-yard pickup. In at quarterback for Brockton is Max Foster, who is a freshman. He's going to line it up out of the gun, back to his right, two receivers either side. Takes the snap, hands it off, run up the middle, and another good run there by Powell Jr. as he gets towards midfield. Brockton in hurry-up mode here. That did indeed move the chains, 10-yard pickup. With time running low here in the second quarter, they're going to try to hurry this up as much as possible. And there's a pickup of several yards by Powell Jr. We'll see where they mark it. Looks like they'll give him 6. Right back to the line they go. Foster lines it up out of the gun. Powell the back to his left. Two receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, play action, rolls to his left, throws upfield, and it is intercepted. With the interception, Joseph Carazza. So a great interception there by Joseph Carazza. And the Hillers get the ball back. Well, Foster underthrew that ball a little bit, and Carazza was ready for it. Able to reel it in. And it looks like we had a penalty. Looks to be against the Hillers. Well, they spotted it back all the way at the 10. Wyatt Stevens in the game for Hopkinton. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun with a back to his left, two receivers either side. Takes the snap, throws to his left, it's complete. And on the reception was Michael Burney, and he's good for about 3 or 4 yards. Hillers in hurry-up mode here with time running low. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun. Mulvaney to his left. He'll get the call this time. And he's going to sweep to the far side. There is a flag on the play as he's brought down at around the 18. We'll have to see what the flag's about. Looks like it's going to be against the Hillers. So we're going to get a holding call, I believe, against Hopkinton. That'll push them back. So the Hillers push back to about the 10-yard line. They're going to line it up, out of the gun. Stevens takes the snap, looks to his left, throws to his left, has a target, and it's caught. And that should be enough for the first down, as reeling it in was Michael Burney. A 10-yard pickup by Burney on the reception. And right back to the line they go. Stevens out of the gun, takes the snap, and he's going to roll to his right, under pressure, throws it away. Smart move there. They'll bring up 2nd and 10. And we have a flag on the field. Did we have some extracurricular activity there? Looks like it's going to be against the Hillers. Well, I'd have to. Not quite sure what this penalty is all about, but in any case, Hillers move back to the 10. Might have been a delay of game call. That flag was thrown very late. Out of the gun, back to his left. And Stevens takes the snap, throws to his right. It's caught. And that is going to bring the Hillers up to about the 25, but it will not matter because now it's at the end of the half. After 2 quarters of play, it's Hopkinton 6, Brockton nothing. We got a good defensive battle here at Hopkinton High School. Second half of this JV matchup coming up next on HCAM. And welcome back to Hopkinton High School. We are ready to start the second half of this JV matchup between Brockton and Hopkinton. And as we enter the second half, it's the Hillers leading 6-0. Brockton will kick off right to left across your screen. In the first half, the Hillers had 87 yards through the air, 32 on the ground. Brockton had 88 yards, all on the ground. Overall, Hopkinton 119 yards, Brockton 88 yards. And the Hillers leading 6-0 as the opening kickoff will sail back to about the 20. It was bobbled a little bit, but then picked up by Karatza, who will have a pretty nice return here. All the way to the 38 he goes. So the Hillers will start off with pretty good field position. And this game has certainly become quite a defensive chess match between these two teams. Both teams have had a couple opportunities with great field position, but we're not able to do much due to the tremendous defense happening in this game. And at quarterback is Robert Lisher. He's going to line it up out of the gun, back to his left motion, or right to left. He'll hand it off to the man in motion. That's Karatza. Up the far side he goes, breaking free across midfield. A first down plus some as he's brought down at around the 48. A good pickup there by Karatza. And he picks up, they're going to mark him right at midfield, so it was a 12-yard pickup by Karatza. And the Hillers, surprisingly, only 32 rushing yards in the first half. They're going to look to get the ground game going here in this half. And, of course, burning clock is going to be big, I think, in this second half. Lisher going to line it up out of the gun with a back to his right, motion left to right. Play action, and then he'll hand it off to the up back, and that is going to be Owen Flanagan, who will take it up the left side seam for a couple. Looks like they'll give him 3. So the Hillers keeping it moving. 2nd and 7 from the Brockton 47. And head coach Jelson Silva of Brockton gave a spirited speech at the half. He was not too happy with his team's effort out there. Lisher going to line it up out of the gun. Karatza moves over to his right. 2 receivers spread out to either side. He'll take the snap, and he'll take it himself. There he goes. Up the left side hash marks, and he's good for about 3. That'll bring up 3rd and a little over 2 yards to go. Third and 3. Lisher going to line it up with Flanagan to his right. Karatza in the backfield. Takes the snap. He'll pitch it to Karatza. And Karatza going to be brought down for a loss. Taking him down, Nathaniel Smith, the freshman. He's brought down at around the 48. That brings up 4th down for the Hillers. Well, they're in Brockton territory, so will they go for it? Usually in situations when they're in the defensive half of the field, they will take the risk. Lisher remains out there. And he'll line it up out of the gun. 2 backs to his right, and he's going to punt it. I'd say that's a smart move there, and that's going to be a very good punt. All the way to the 10-yard line it goes. In fact, it rolled a couple yards back from that to about the 8. So a nice punt there by Lisher. But the Brockton defense gets the job done. And they get the ball back. But they will start deep in their own territory. Back in at quarterback is Turco. Matt Turco lines it up under center. He dropped the snap, but he's able to cover it up. Turco just able to cover it up, and fortunately for Brockton, they didn't lose too much. It actually looks like he was right on the initial line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. Turco under center once again as they go flexbone package. And it's going to be a keeper. Up the right side he goes, finding some room. There's a flag on the play as he gets past the 20. And all the way to the 22-yard line. Let's see what the call is. I'm assuming it's going to be on Brockton. Officials talking it over. Nope, it's going to be against the Hillers. Looks like we have a face mask against Hopkinton. So Brockton will certainly take that. That'll bring them all the way up to the 38-yard line. 15-yard face mask call. So you could count the run there by Turco. And we are ready to go. It's going to be a handoff. And Paul Jr. will take it to about the 42. Picks up a couple there. On the draw play. Turco going to line it up out of the gun. Paul Jr. to his left. Two receivers either side. Takes the snap. Here he goes. And he's going to find some room along the right side and have a big gain here into Hopkinton territory. Gets all the way to about the 35. And that is the biggest gain of the game on a single play there by Brockton. And they are in hurry-up mode. They have some momentum going. And it's going to be a run up the right side hash marks. A keeper there by Turco, good for a couple. But a 3-yard pickup. That brings up 2nd and 7. From the 32. The offense looks over to the sideline for the play call. Turco going to line it up out of the gun with a back to his right. Two receivers either side. Hands it off. And brought down for a loss is Paul Jr. Leading the way for the Hillers, Owen Flanagan. Another big defensive stop there. And they look to Coach Silva for the play call. 3rd down and several yards to go for Brockton. Turco lined up out of the gun with a back to either side, takes the snap, hands it off to the right back. And a pickup of 3 or 4 there. That time it was Xavier McRae getting the call. And that brings up 3rd down and 3 to go. Brockton, they're going to be aggressive here in the second half, trying to break out of this offensive struggle. Out of the gun, and it's going to be a keeper. Taking it to his left, finds a little room, gets the first down and a couple yards more. Matt Turco showing off the moves. He got to about the 23-yard line. Well, Brockton moving upfield quickly as they have found some momentum offensively. Turco going to line it up out of the gun. The back to his right is McRae. 2 receivers spread out to either side. Motion from left to right. And it's going to be McRae getting the call. Up the middle he goes, and he's good for a couple. That brings up 2nd down and several yards to go. Turco out of the gun, takes the snap, rolls to his right, throws to his right, has his target. On the reception, that was Jamel Spurl. And that brings up 3rd down and about 2 to go for Brockton. Turco out of the gun. He's going to take it himself up the middle, finds some room, slips a couple tackles, now breaking free up the right side, and he has a big gain, but did take a massive hit from Sokol. Justin Sokol got in there and just clocked him. Andrew Budden on the initial wrap. But a big gain nonetheless for Turco. And that moves the chains for Brockton and puts them deep in the red zone. They're all the way at around the 5-yard line. But an 18-yard pickup on the run. Turco going to line it up out of the gun, back to his right. And I believe that is going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. And it will be. So 1 more quarter to go, a 6-0 lead for the Hillers, but Brockton is driving. You are tuned in to Hopkinton Hillers JV football on HCAM. And we are ready to start the fourth quarter. We have switched ends, and it was a quick-moving third quarter. Both teams only possessed the ball one time. Brockton, of course, ended the quarter on a drive, and they are deep in Hiller's territory in a first-and-goal situation from about the 5. And it's going to be a handoff here. McRae getting the call, and he's good for a couple. I'll bring up second and goal from the, looks like the 4. And they're going to go out of the eye. It's going to be a run up the middle. Pushing his way forward, still on his feet, is Walter Rodriguez. The Hillers are able to stop him shy of the end zone. Looks like a 2-yard pickup there by Rodriguez. And it brings up third and goal from the 2. Back to the line they go. Turco under center. And he's going to take it himself, pushing up the middle. Did he get in? No sign yet. The Hillers, of course, saying he was a little short, and it looks like he was stopped a little short. And there's an injured player on the field. He's about a yard short, so they're going to check on the injured player. We hope he's okay. Can't quite see who it is. But this has been a hard-hitting game by both these teams. And a very good defensive battle. And certainly a fun game to watch. And while they check on the injured player, we'll step aside. It is a 6-0 Hopkinton Hillers lead here in the fourth quarter on HCAM. And we are just about ready to continue on. The injured player, who appears to be Dominic Castillo, being helped off the field. Appeared to be a leg injury. We hope he's okay. He does appear to be walking off under his own power for the most part, so that's good. Hopefully it's not too severe. But in any case, fourth and goal from the 1. Here we go. Can the Hillers defense make a big stop? It's going to be a keeper. Turco into the end zone, and this game is tied at 6 apiece. A 1-yard touchdown run by Matt Turco, and the Brockton offense comes through big. And they have a chance to go ahead with an extra point. And you'd imagine if they have anyone on the roster capable of making the extra point, they'd go for it. And they're going to take a timeout here. They want to talk things over. So we're knotted up at 6 apiece. Matt Turco finding the end zone, and Turco had a heck of a drive as he was able to break through for some big runs. During that drive, he rushed for 44 yards overall. And Brockton, I guess, found a solution for the Hillers defense being able to stop their running backs. Just let Matt Turco keep it. And also in that drive, there was a 5-yard reception to James Burrow that extended it. And a big 15-yard run by Mauricio Paul Jr. Brockton able to string together a touchdown drive against this stingy Hillers defense. And now, will they go for two? At JV level, they go for two quite often. Because at the JV level, obviously you want to win the games, but it's really all about learning situational football. So they like to be in these situations and try to go for two. And that's exactly what they're going to do here. We're knotted at 6 apiece. They're going to go out of a flexbone formation. Turco in trouble, brought down, ball is loose, and the conversion is no good. That Turco taking a big hit there, and we are knotted at 6 apiece. So it is anybody's game at this point. And I don't know how much time is left in the fourth quarter because the scoreboard's off, but that drive from Brockton started about mid-third quarter and certainly ate up at least a couple minutes in this fourth quarter. So a nice long extended drive for Brockton. And they will take it. Brockton ready to kick it away. Left to right across your screen. And it'll be a end-over-end kickoff. Back to the 20-yard line it goes. On the return, it's Carazza. Here he goes to the near side, the 35, the 40, the 45 across midfield into Brockton territory, the 30, the 20, the 10, and see you later, touchdown Hillers! An 80-yard kickoff return by Joseph Carazza puts the Hillers right back on top. Unbelievable. Well, Brockton had the lead for about 5 seconds. Joseph Carazza said, "Nah, we'll take the lead back. Thank you, though." An 80-yard kickoff return. Joseph Carazza taking it to the house. Talk about a momentum shift in an instant. The Hillers going to go for two here. I'm actually starting to think at the JV level, they don't even kick extra points. They just always go for two. That may be the case. We'll have to talk to the coaches. See if maybe there is no extra points allowed. You just got to go for two. I know one of the reasons they would do it is you certainly don't want to risk anything happening to your varsity kicker for the JV game, and kickers are tough to find as well, so you're saving your big star kicker for that varsity game. Stevens in there. He'll take the snap. Looking upfield, throws to the end zone, and it's caught. 2-point conversion is good. That was Sergio Melli reeling it in. So Wyatt Stevens connects with Melli. And the Hillers are on top 14-6. And just when Brockton thought they had something going, they were right back in this game. Well, Joseph Carazza had other ideas. And you'd have to imagine that after what the Hillers just did on that kickoff return, they're going to be very careful here on this kickoff. Certainly wouldn't want Brockton to be able to retaliate.
Hey, Ty, be the first one down there. Ty, be the first one down there.
Ravitch tees it up, and he is set to kick it away. It has turned into quite the action-packed game here. End over end it goes, a beauty of a kickoff. And that is going to be a touchback. Can't do any better of a job than Avery Ravitch just did with that kickoff. So the Brockton offense will come back out, and they'll have to string together a drive here to try to get back into this game. They'll start from their own 20. Some cloud cover starting to take place here. The field not as sun-drenched as when we first started this game. And it is certainly still windy. Tom Nappy, happy to be with you on the call. John Ritz on camera. Brockton trying to get back into this game. Turco going to line it up out of the gun. He'll hand it off, and here goes Jonathan Pace up the far sideline. And he's able to find a little bit of room for 6 or 7 yards there. Pretty good run by Pace. Brockton had all kinds of success on the ground on their last drive. So I'd imagine we'll see a good amount of the run game and certainly a hurry-up style offense here. Turco going to line it up out of the gun, back to his left, 2 receivers spread out to either side. He will hand it off, and finding some room is going to be Powell Jr. There he goes, up the near side into Hiller's territory. The 30, the 20, the 10, and he is going to be brought out of bounds on around the 2. Spinning him out of bounds was Wyatt Stevens. And that was a great job by Stevens catching up to him. But a huge gain by Powell Jr. All the way to the 2-yard line he goes. That was about a 71-yard run. And actually, it looks like they marked him a little further back than I thought. They marked him back at the 8. So he must have stepped out of bounds just a little bit sooner than I witnessed. A run here up the middle, good for a couple. That was about a 65-yard run. But it was a good job by Stevens because he at least gives the Hillers defense a chance to make a stop here. Turco going to line it up out of the gun. Walter Rodriguez, the back to his left. 4 receivers set, 3 to the left. He's going to take it himself. Here he goes. Up the left side, and he's brought down at around the 5. A good stop there by Owen Flanagan, who has been huge defensively today for Hopkinton. It's about a 3-yard pickup on the keeper. That brings up 3rd and goal, and they marked him at the 4. They look towards the sideline for the play call. The Hillers fans in attendance rooting on the defense. Out of the gun, double back formation, hands it off to the left back, and right into the end zone goes Mauricio Powell Jr. A 4-yard touchdown run by Powell Jr. And it's a 14-12 game. And obviously in this situation, they will certainly go for 2. But a good response by Brockton. That was courtesy of a huge run by Mauricio Powell Jr., 65-yarder to set him up in the red zone. Now for the two-point attempt. Turco out of the gun. He'll throw the screen to Paul Jr., and Paul Jr. is going to be stopped short. Good stop by the Hillers defense, and it'll remain a 14-12 game. Well, now that successful two-point conversion by the Hillers is just absolutely huge. Brockton will kick off left to right across your screen. And Brockton making some late changes. Danielson Silver kicks it away. Back to about the 25. Hillers hoping for a nice return here. Carazza fumbled, and I believe the Hillers recover. Let's see what the officials say. And Hopkinton will have it. But nearly a very rough situation there. But fortunately for Carazza, one of his fellow teammates able to jump on it, and Hopkinton will start this drive from their own 37. Up to the line they go. In at quarterback, Wyatt Stevens. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun. Carazza, the back to his left. Two receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, and he is going to take it to the near side and pick up about 2 before he's brought out of bounds. Caleb Tarbush bringing him out of bounds. Well, one thing you probably don't want to do here if you're the Hillers is go out of bounds. You want to keep that clock moving. Wyatt Stevens back up to the huddle. Stevens going to line it up out of the gun, back to his right. Two receivers spread out to either side. Takes the snap, hands it off to Carazza, and Carazza will find no room there. Brought down for a small loss, taking him to the ground, Anthony Reiser, the junior. Excuse me, sophomore. Carazza so far has been relatively quiet in this game, besides the 80-yard kickoff return. But as far as running the ball, been a little more quiet than usual. Did break free earlier for a 12-yard run. And Stevens takes the snap under pressure. He'll take it himself up the middle, up to the 42 he goes. So he was able to make a small gain out of it. They'll put him at the 43 actually, but it is 4th down for the Hillers. And we're going to get a timeout called here by Brockton. And the Hillers going to have a big play here to keep this drive going as they face a 4th and 4. If they're able to extend this drive, I believe that'll pretty much cement this game for the Hillers. And they're going to line it up. Out of the gun, they may punt here as well. They will punt. They brought out Lisher, and he had a nice punt. Landed all the way at the 20, 10, and then rolls into the end zone. So that was a smart move there by the Hillers. You certainly don't want Brockton to get good field position. At least make them work for it if they want to try to steal this game away. So Brockton will start back at their own 20-yard line. And this is likely their final opportunity to try to steal this game away. Brockton's going to have to work quickly here. Again, we're not quite sure how much time is left in the fourth quarter, but can't imagine it's too much. But this offense certainly capable of some short scoring drives as Turco out of the gun hands it off to Paul Jr. He's good for a couple. They're going to have to line it right back up. Right back to the line they go. Turco out of the gun, back to his left. Now we'll put it back to either side. And some confusion, it looks like, amongst the offense. Takes the snap, and it's a run up the middle. And that's good for 5 or 6 yards. There's Paul Jr. on the run. And that'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Let's go, D.
Lined up with a wishbone backfield is Turco, and he's going to take it himself, trying to find some room along the left side, and there is no room. Good stop by the Hillers defense. Getting in there was Evan Van Beek and Robert Lisher. And that brings up 4th down, and looks like we have 2 minutes left in the game. But this is going to be a crucial play for Brockton right here, facing a 4th and 5. What will they do here? Turco out of the gun. The back to his right is Paul Jr. He'll take the snap, looking to throw. Up the middle he goes, and it's caught. But did he have enough? This is very close. And it looks like he did. Looks like maybe just enough. And the officials say move the chains. So that was a crucial play that Brockton needed there. The game continues on. Turco with a back to his left, hands it off. Up the middle, no room there. In on the stop for the Hillers was the unlisted 86. I believe the 86 is actually Devin Canty. We'll get a confirmation on that, but I believe it is Devin Canty. Jonathan Dickin also in on the stop. 2nd and 10. And Brockton, they need to snap this ball quickly here. Time is not on their side. Less than 2 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. Turco out of the gun with a back to his left, and it's going to be a handoff. Here goes Paul Jr. finding some room towards midfield, and a huge gain there. All the way to the 49-yard line goes Paul Jr. And he has come through in the clutch for sure for this Brockton team. And they'll line it up out of the gun. Turco with the back to his left, 2 receivers spread out to either side. And it's going to be an end around. Here goes Jonathan Pace up the far side, and he finds a little bit of room there. Found about 5 yards on the play. Right back to the line they go. Time is running low, and Turco will stop the clock. So just seconds left in this game. And Brockton is facing a 2nd and 5. And the officials, I think, trying to get the players back onto the field.
3rd down.
And there's also some confusion over what down it is. Crowd saying 3rd down. They do indeed change it. It is 3rd down. Turco going to line it up out of the gun. Powell Jr. the back to his right. 3 receivers spread out to the right. He'll take it. Rolls to his right, throws to his right, incomplete, dropped by a wide open target. James Spurl, the intended receiver. That'll bring up 4th down for Brockton. They need to convert here for any chance in this game.
Come on, Green. Hold him here.
And pretty much this play is it. If the Hiller is able to stop them, they'll come away with the win. Brockton's going to take a timeout. They want to talk things over before this crucial play. Well, this has been an exciting defensive battle. Both teams had an offensive touchdown, and well, actually, Brockton had 2 offensive touchdowns. The Hillers, of course, had that great 80-yard kick return. And it all comes down to this play. Either Brockton will keep the game going, and they'll still be very low on time. So they'll need a couple big plays after that to try to come away with the win. But it has been a well-fought-out game all throughout between these two teams. And certainly some great up-and-coming talent on both sides as well. Of course, the JV teams typically get the varsity players in there a little bit sometimes for a play or two, especially if they didn't play much during the varsity game. But both of these teams have very bright futures for sure.
Come on, Green.
Here we go. 4th and 5 for Brockton. Can they extend this game? Looks like Max Foster is in at quarterback, and he indeed is. He'll line it up out of the gun. Powell Jr. to his left, a 4-receiver set. 3 receivers spread out to the right. Takes the snap, looks up the middle, throws up the middle, and they will not have enough. It'll be a turnover on downs. In on the stop, none other than Justin Sokol. What a great effort that was by the Hillers defense. And that is going to do it. That'll wrap up this game. It was a hard-fought, well-played game by both teams. A lot of fun to watch, and certainly a lot of action in the 4th quarter. As Brockton scored all 12 of their points in the 4th quarter. Hillers, of course, had the 80-yard kickoff return by Joseph Carazza for a touchdown and the 2-point conversion. And the 2-point conversion ends up being the difference as the Hillers take the game 14-12 over a very good Brockton team. What a great matchup it was. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. For John Ritz on camera, I'm Tom Nappy. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a good night, everybody.